DeSantis events. I mean, as many as I can get to. I know. I remember you. But you went back to that right now. Just the being happy and conservative. I've been looking at Were you stuck there? Get my own. It's only YouTube or Deace out here. You're absolutely
so we're like always whatever it is. Are you going on
supposed to. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to South Carolina.
It's Atlanta?
I think so. Yeah. I thought they were doing it, right?
What's that? Well, I was trying to hang out in the back door and make them walk in. They're like, go right behind. Yeah, they were like studying around.
It's a terrible picture, right? Showing they crash into each other.
Would have been better with Flash. You should try Flash sometime.
It's good in color.
Try Flash. Flash for cash.
If you were there, I would have caught your flash.
Bright and tight.
How are you? How about people flying to Kansas City and drive up? People look like that Kansas City. Is that right? Like Tuesday morning? Out here.
Yeah, like 6 in the morning.
Yeah, that's gonna be that security line's gonna suck.
It is.
Like that's the busiest time at this airport anyway.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. 6 in the morning is. Or at 5.
Actually, I've got to get there at like 5, right?
I get there. Yeah.
I've got to return a rental car, so yeah, I'm probably not going to sleep like Monday night. Get to the airport.
How much I'm going to regret leaving my coat back there?
Coat?
Yeah. It'll be gone? Not really be gone. I think it'll be
Thank you.
2-2.
speakers are going to start in 3 minutes, but pre-programmed.
One of the biggest stories in Iowa has been the fate of Ron DeSantis. A year ago, he was a new big thing in the Republican Party. Where did it all go wrong? Why is he second or even third?
What if the story is 48 hours before the election? We have to wait and see.
We'll talk about that later right now. It's all cramps. We'll talk about that later. 100%
Desperately wants to come second, give her momentum, and DeSantis desperately doesn't want to be third. My line is,
I don't know what exact time.
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Never Back Down Chairman and CEO Scott Wagner.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you all for coming out here today in support of Governor Ron DeSantis and his bid for President of the United States. We've got people from all over the country who have shown up to Iowa to support the governor here. We know it's cold. A lot of us are from Florida. We've never seen this weird white stuff falling out of the sky. But we're all here on a mission to support a guy who has shown up and who has done things the right way. As you know, the governor has not canceled any of his events. He's all over Iowa. Started the morning, I think, in Council Bluffs, and he's making his way back to Des Moines. He's running a little bit behind, so I hope all you guys will be patient. But in the meantime, as you know, I think the governor secured what I call the holy trinity of endorsements here in Iowa. Governor Kim Reynolds and Bob Vanderplaats, but of course one of the most compelling and impressive conservative talk show hosts here in Iowa, Steve Deace. Steve Deace is going to come up and say a few words.
So 2 days before the 2012 Iowa caucuses, I was on the Newt Gingrich campaign in that race. And Newt asked me to come down to campaign headquarters about 48 hours before the caucuses to give everybody a pep talk. It was nowhere near anything like this in that room, okay? I mean, this energy is incredible. And I want you to know that Newt Gingrich, by the way, he finished about where polls is telling us Governor DeSantis is in Iowa right now. I know what a mid-teens finish in the caucuses looks like. I went through that on the Gingrich campaign. It does not look like this. This is incredible energy. I was on the Cruz campaign. We built, at that time, the best organization until you guys came along in the history of the Iowa caucuses. We broke the record for the most votes ever in an Iowa caucus. And I will tell you, 48 hours before the caucuses, it wasn't like that in that room. It wasn't like this in that room either. This is incredible energy. And you guys should be very proud of what you have done and what you have built. And we did not face the challenge of the weather that is going on right now. This is the worst weather I've ever seen in Iowa at this time of the year, the worst I've ever seen for an Iowa caucus. I've lived in the same home for 17 years, 5 minutes from here. And this is the highest snowdrift around my front walk I have ever seen. And to see you guys out there knocking on doors, finishing the race, it's truly inspiring. It's very compelling. You know, much of this campaign, we haven't known where Donald Trump's wife is at. Many of his former staffers are not supporting him this time. And so for the governor to have state legislators, just native Floridians, who are so inspired by his leadership that you guys are willing to come up here on your own time and own dime into this desolation, all right, I think speaks an incredible amount about the inspirational leadership of Governor DeSantis. When I got in here about 45 minutes ago, several of you stopped me and said, hey, thank you for your endorsement. And I think I said this to every single one of you. This was a simple decision. This is just math to me. Now, unfortunately, in my industry, I've got colleagues who are doing another kind of math. And I heard from a few of them, and they were convinced that me endorsing Governor DeSantis in August would kill my show on the Blaze. It didn't. We actually had the most lucrative third and fourth quarter in ad sales we've ever had in the history of the show. Joe Biden couldn't even stop that. I can tell you, there are other people in my business who wanted to support Governor DeSantis publicly, but they are convinced that bought-off social media bot world of Trump and the Twitter grift core and all those people, because we live in my industry, we live in that realm so often, they are convinced that that represents a lot of people, and it doesn't. You do. You represent a lot of people. That's not real life. What's going on in here is real. This is real buzz, the likes of which this late in a process I've never seen. And I've been on several campaigns in Iowa that won, and they did not have the energy that we have right now on this campaign. And you know why I think that is? I go back to something I saw Governor Reynolds say this morning at one of her stops for Governor DeSantis. Because Ron DeSantis has already done everything all Republicans have been talking about for all of our lives. Ron DeSantis, that's, I said a few minutes ago, the math is very simple for me. Before I was blessed to do this for a living, my wife, she went and got Rush Limbaugh as The Way Things Ought to Be and read that book because when we first started dating, because she thought that would help her get to know me better. All right, was to read that book. Okay. I mean, I read the books that you guys read now. I listened to the shows that you guys listen to now. I was a live-inite. I was a Rush baby. I did all those things. And now some of those people are my friends and colleagues, and I'm blessed to work in this industry. And so now some of you listen to the shows I do and read the books I write. Ron DeSantis is the fulfillment of all the movement wrote and that we're reading. He is the fulfillment of those things. The radio shows, the podcast that you listen to now, that you grew up listening to like I did. He is the fulfillment of all of those things. And it's just at the right time, right now, for such a time as this, when we need it more than ever before. If you are another generation older than me, you thought stagflation was dead and buried with the Reagan Revolution. We are being reintroduced to it yet again, right now in real time. All right, I'm about to have, my oldest daughter is about to have our first grandbaby here in a couple of months. Her and her husband, who is a veteran and serves in the National Guard, they make pretty good money for a young couple in their early 20s. They couldn't afford a used car any earlier than a 2018 when they wanted to go get a minivan for their baby because of what has happened to interest rates, inflation, and everything else. And that's a common story, an all too common story happening right now in our country. We have to. I've never said this before, and if you've listened to me for years, you know I hate. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. I hate it. I hate it. Every politician says this every single time. No, dude, it's your most important one because your job's on the line. But if win or lose, most of the time, which side wins, my life won't change all that much, unfortunately. If this guy wins, lives are going to change quite a bit, and for the better. And before we even get to the basic economic stuff, we have an existential list of crises. What's a border in America? What's a law in America? What's an invasion in America? What's a gender in America right now? These are the kinds of things when civilizations open those kinds of Pandora's boxes and say, let's renegotiate these first things. Let's reconsider these fundamentals of existence. These are the kinds of things when a people begins to do this, they rarely recover from it. We have to shut that door. We have to win this election, but it's not enough just to beat the bad guys. We need to replace them, finally, with a good guy. Someone that has already proven this. And if you lived in Florida or Iowa, it was fascinating living during COVID. I got to travel around the country because I just defied everybody's orders. And I couldn't believe, even going to Texas where the Blaze headquarters is located, even in Texas, how much differently we lived in Iowa than Texas did. Blew my mind. I mean, we were doing high school sporting events in Iowa, and high schools in Texas were not even open yet. That's Texas. I can't even imagine what it was like in blue states. I saw for my own eyes what it was like in California. It was Hotel Alcatraz is what it was like there. Walking through LAX in the middle of the day, and there's nobody there. It was like a scene out of a zombie apocalypse movie. We nearly lost everything we hold dear as a society because of COVID. And the number one reason I'm standing here, frankly, is that on March 16th, 2020, Donald Trump surrendered his presidency to that virus and to Anthony Fauci and never got it back. And as good as the first 3 years of that presidency was, in spite of unprecedented opposition against him, that last year of his presidency is one of the worst in the history of the American presidency. When the first real crisis of his presidency emerged, the first real one, COVID, he puckered. When the riots emerged, he puckered. He hid. Never sent out the National Guard. People, do you guys remember Chaz? That's not a Twitter avatar name. We literally had rioters declare themselves a separate country on American soil, man. No, hell no, you're not doing that. Send in the Guard and lay waste to this. We don't do this in America. Let's see some justice. But you know where we didn't see those things? Florida. That's where we didn't see those things. Because you had real leadership there. Someone with a real worldview there. Someone with real courage of conviction there. We are here right now. We are suffering under the rule of the Biden regime and his 91 IQ that is, unfortunately, with his feeble mind, depreciating on a daily basis. We are suffering under those things because when Donald Trump had his moment in history to truly be the hero we were sold, he failed. On the other hand, in Florida, that governor stepped up. And now he's running for president. He has proven it's not a projection. We do not have to sit there and say, well, I like what he says. I had somebody DM me the other day. I'm thinking of going with Vivek Ramaswamy. You never talk about him. Why? And I said, because he hasn't done anything. Vivek Ramaswamy's claim to running for office is, I couldn't stop my own company from going woke, so I sold it and wrote books. Okay. I mean, that's not a rationale for a candidacy. Do something. Show me your convictions are true. I was looking at the Sioux City Journal's endorsement of Ron DeSantis a few minutes ago. And that's a big endorsement in Northwest Iowa for sure. But I think their endorsement doesn't say it right. They urge Iowa Republicans to support Governor DeSantis because he speaks their language. Oh, no, he does much more than that. He does our language. He does the stuff we claim to believe. And that's why we need him for president right now. That's why I did something I've never done ever, endorsed a candidate before I actually knew them. Because I didn't have to. The record spoke for itself. Now, this is where all of us come in. And frankly, this is where my fellow Iowans come in. We have the candidate. The record is proven. We have the campaign. What you guys have done and put together here, take it as somebody who is an integral part of the operation Ted Cruz built in 2016. What you guys have done here is way beyond that. And that produced the greatest caucus turnout of all time. We have the candidate. We have the campaign. No one's worked harder. No one has tried to meet more Iowans. No one has worked the process harder. No one's working harder right now than this campaign is. So if you're here today and you're wavering, you're soft, you're undecided, you're not sure, or you're going to watch this later on, or you're watching it now, or you're listening to it, this isn't about Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, and heaven forbid Nikki Haley, and Vivek Ramaswamy or anybody else now. This is about you. This is about us. Do we really believe the things we have claimed all these years to believe? Are these really the values we really have? All the times we lectured our children at the kitchen table. Was it legit? Did we believe it? Or in the end, I'm just going to jump on the back of the motorcycle with the guy with the ponytail again. Even though I know how that ride ends every single time, I'm going to do that again. This is the time now to be serious about this process. To take this process seriously, to take your vote on Monday seriously, and to make a serious statement to the rest of the country. Your PSYOP polls aren't going to determine who the next leader is. Your biased media is not going to do it. Your social media bots and your Twitter grift corps aren't going to determine who the next president of the United States is. We are. And we have that opportunity right now. Do not blow it. Candidates like this don't come around every single cycle. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Please, I beg all of you, take advantage of it. God bless. Thank you.
I asked him if when he starts speaking, if he moves forward, and I think that's side. I won't be there too long. I just want to make a deal and I'll get back here. I still want to be in Mississippi. Now, what's your motion? I was good talking. I step on the menu. I won't do that. Yeah, I think it's already worked in our really well. So I really do this. We're from Florida and we're doing a full report on here. I don't have a good job with the Iowa people. I want to, oh, you're from what's your... Okay. Yeah, we work with problems every day. Frank? Oh, Dr. Joel Rudman. I'm in the Florida House of Representatives. I thought that was you sitting over here. How are you? Well, I'm a doctor. Family practice. Like, second you guys start to turn in. So you're going to learn a lot about. Let's just say I'm taking notes from this campaign here today. I'm one of those freedom doctors. I was a normal family doctor in 2020. Told everyone to calm down. We were going to get through COVID. Don't worry about it. Ask me if you have any questions. My town named me the business of the year. The American Board of Family Medicine came out Florida, halfway between Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach. Florida Panhandle, at Deace. So I'm a proud conservative, but I'm a common conservative. Like I said, we didn't do anything crazy in the Panhandle. We just preached a pattern of listen to your physician. We will advise you. Don't listen to Fauci. Don't listen to Burke. Don't listen to Redfield. We'll keep you posted. For that, the ABF International.
So I was in Mexico and then another
Oh, hey, you guys wrote a piece on my bill. It was the medical conscience bill last session in Florida, but you didn't go after me on that podcast. So that's what I covered. Next time, spell my name wrong. Oh, go right ahead. Proud of you. Joel, I've been here. Are you there? Life, medical values, Florida. State representative of Florida Surgeon. We all have long memories. I remember exactly why they can't share that. We were confronted with a virus where the data was sketchy. We had a Republican president in place, and we thought we could trust our president to get what we were given. So like every other state, we needed to follow that president's advice. We needed to salvage a cure and save the nation or whatever the slogan was. When I'm recording, I will be ready. The rest of us with the brain, we started going down. I would say this. We also were loyal foot soldiers when it came to the vaccine. We had Operation Warp Speed where we were promised take the vaccine and all will be well. We'll never catch COVID. You can imagine my surprise when I lost the vaccine. And about 6 months later, I was sent down to I started getting what is the purpose of the vaccine? If I came to a tetanus vaccine and you caught tetanus, you would come look at me. So I started asking the tough questions. My governor started asking the tough questions. My governor started asking, do you believe in these things? He said no. We never said that. It's hard to make change when open. People are comfortable with their body and change is scary. He said sometimes I feel like our political process is curtailed by current legislation. By the time we get some months on his bill, that year on the process, not your working system, not only as a year, but investigated by the American board by the process, not very much happened. Things got a lot of integrating their vaccine. One phone call from the president of the American board, along with advertising the vaccine. You said 4 years. You are going after someone who's vaccinated. I think about something. I don't want to take it on the West. They want a leader who can take the data and analyze it and delegate it. Because you look at how these freedoms can be taken away in the name of a violence. Our people voted for I would. If they knew what was best for them, all I would. We don't know where our At the time, all we had to go on with the information we were that the data was not adding up to the narrative back here by analyzing it. We asked experts. We asked professors. We didn't ask Tony Fauci. We asked experts. And Donald Trump did not do that? That's correct. So Trump failed on purpose. In my opinion, as a physician, as someone who's voted for Donald Trump twice in the past, that is why I support Ron DeSantis. love your job.
So, Ian. I know. Thanks so much. Those of you that, we're not worried about
It's not that young. You remember 1992. Bill Clinton come back here. Third place finish in the year. No, this is the president. Third place finish here would not be what I would expect. I would expect a very strong second place finish. Judging from what I see on the map here in Iowa, this is going to be a judgment. This is going to be a big one. I'm going to be very happy with the opportunity.
Anymore.
These guys ask you big questions. Oh, yeah. They ask you what picture you missed. I haven't had that one yet. Never missed a photo. I miss a photo every day. Is there one that you're particularly upset over missing? And if they didn't ask it, I told them to ask it. I didn't get that, but I put them behind me. I try not to hold on to the resentment because it's not good for you. Yeah, every day I just today I really wanted to him arriving in the snow. It shut me down. I'm moving on. Yeah, they wouldn't let me stand up there. I really needed that picture to put him in the context of his work. That's what it is. It happens to me every day. You understand this? Key word. Context. Everything is context. Every day I ask myself, what is the story? Right before I walk in, what is the story? I have to remind myself, because if I'm in my own way, I can't tell the story. Why did you ask me the question about what picture he missed? Yes. So it's the same thing that he does. He figures out what is your context. In your case, what is the question? In the event that you're trying to learn, what is going to give you a perspective That's the hard part. That's why I was trying to get that side shot. I get the spread in the room. If I shoot him in the middle of the room, I get the great American flag, but I don't have the Iowa people. I myself what the story is. I have the room and I have to put the side shot. Right? I can remember him right here. This room is right behind us. How far are you? How far is it? Yeah, I know it's how far? How far? Today I don't want to kick that guy off on the stage. I'm going to be interacting with him all week. He hurt how hard I put. I'm upset that he didn't let me make a picture of him getting out of the car outside. Tell him that.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for making it out on this beautiful Winterfest day. So, again, thank you for everybody coming out here. A couple of things. One, we're currently out knocking doors and making phone calls all across Iowa. Right now, you see a bunch of our folks out here in orange shirts. Caleb, one of our best volunteers here in Des Moines, constantly making phone calls. Yeah, let's give it up for Caleb. This guy comes here all the time and makes hundreds, if not thousands, of calls on behalf of the governor. So now we've got a lot of people here, and we're going to be calling all night. We'll call up until 9 because that's when you got to stop calling. My one request is for those of you here who just stopped in, help us out. We've got call sheets in the back. We can get you up on Advantage, help us make calls. There's a lot of people home right now. It's cold outside. Thank you all for coming out here again. I can't say that enough. I appreciate it. But it's important. This is the final, 48 hours until the caucus. Our biggest thing here at MBD is our ground game and really emphasizing that. We'd like to flex our muscle, and we're really flexing it today. We've got Cedar Rapids making phone calls. We've got Davenport, Council Bluffs, Sioux City, and then right here in Des Moines. This is the main headquarters. Yeah, thank you. So, again, my biggest request is for all of you here, really appreciate it if everybody just kind of stayed back, even 15, 20 minutes, however much time you can give us. Call out some supporters. We're still getting people who are a lot of undecideds, getting them onto our side. Every phone call counts. Every door knock is a vote. So thank you all very much for that. With that being said, I'd like to kind of turn it over to play a song from a special supporter of ours, Billy Dean, who recently wrote this song about the governor. So that being said, the governor will be here in 5-10 minutes max, and then we'll get the program started. So thank you all for your patience. Really appreciate it. God bless.
5 minutes by your question. I'm glad I don't think I can't think of a picture that I missed. Shocked. I think about it every single day. It has to do with my philosophy in life as well. I just don't live in the past. Too much wreckage. It hurts to live in the past. I just move forward. Really smart. Cash prices. I have. That was hard. And I'll send you a memorial that I have. I've got 10,000 assignments. I added it up while I was here because they had me go speak to a bunch of students about my experience. Who did? Our editor. Go in and how many assignments you've done. And I went through the data. You want to contact them? It's like 10,850. I'll run it by. That's why I don't remember. It's been in my head. Hey, you take a picture of us? Huh? Take a picture of us. Sure, he's gonna hire somebody down there to meet him at an event. Dude, it's like $300 to hire a freelancer. It's fucking $1,800. You'll fly hard and just stay low for me like you are right now. Roger that. Thank you. We got it, man. Who do you want me to knock down if you get out of the way? Nice picture. I'll put that sign in there for you. Wow. Yeah, I remember last year, 4 years ago, it was like you jumped like that's the new Hampshire. And we were sitting at the airport, maybe they hadn't found the Democrats. With all that shambles, it's like 4 in the morning. I'm like, oh. That's a, you got a little bit of room just jumping around the stage. No, that's just a drop you at first stop. It's not worth it, dude. First stop from where? Here? Yeah. So, leave here and then going to South Town. No. Don't even. It's not like you're going to be on the charter for a week. No, it's like. Everyone have a plane and the bill look at like let's say pick them outwards to
like a crossword, but it's like
journalists. I forgot what it costs. $1,000 for 20. If we get more people, like they can bring more staff on.
it's kind of, it's fun. It's a new one every day. There's great ones.
But at some point, it's going to have to be a charter. For Trump. Yeah. And you're going to be going to a lot of Atlanta, a lot of New York City, a lot of Florida for this season. You know, you're using those people like you could ask
My favorite was
with a slight drop of confidence in the car.
kind of like Turtle, but it's really
we were interviewing for the reporter. No, you have them now, but we wanted them for, I think, because I'm bought into these. There's always a third wheel, and I'm always that.
like in the morning and like,
Oh, yeah, it's fucking great. I'm like asking questions like, okay, you want to be the Pentagon reporter? Okay, great. Scenario. Yeah, stop at the Metro. Reports on this.
Wordle's the only one where like, wow, I guess the New York Times crossword for New Orleans Street going.
What do you do? They're like, How's the photos the other day? Remember? We're like, and then we're like, all of a sudden, we're like, you know who this around there? Oh, we're not talking about like that. We're like, we're trying to figure out who the fuck that is. We're like, you're outside? No, you're like, yeah. Yeah, but you're right. We couldn't, by the way, that reporter, we couldn't match. Right. Wow. We're like, no way, man. We're like, no way we're going to be able to match. We didn't go that far. Yeah. And also, at the time, we didn't have the parental leave for couples. And you can be maternity leave because it's just they don't even call it maternity or paternity leave. It's just parental leave because they don't want to centralize. And we don't. They just changed it for us just to address it. That's the one thing we can manage. So let's say you want to adopt a child. You take grants so much time off. Live in this child. You know, big one. I think when I had Luca, I had something to do off. My wife home from work and I was on her. A couple months ago, and really surprised to see how big Broadway has gotten. Yeah, we were, when Harnick had his kid, we were discussing, they hadn't adjusted the whole thing. I'm like, dude, just take the time you want off. We'll figure this out later. My wife used to live in Deace. How are they handling this whole work? Make everybody go back to work? No, it's still like 3 days more years to go for it. They haven't crossed that bridge yet. Like, how do you avoid it? That's a lot of stuff. Doing so. And he's a bit of a comedian. I'm trying to get them to actually be so focused on having somebody in this area. We were there, like some aspects of our community that are on the side. Why do we need an interview with like a photo for top here? It was very awkward. Why do that need to be? Can they be formally have like a political knowledge or something? And they can be fucking wherever they want. It's a fucking 24-hour news cycle. Why are we so focused on, oh, they got to be in this or this region? And I'm like, true. I'm like, by the way, you end up opening up the always set of new cameras. Obviously, the bigger events you bring them in. You know, for like election night, like the union. Everybody has fucking spending a fucking $1 million already. Now leaders can work remotely. They can work in different areas. We've already done it. It works. There's some situations like what percentage we put like an editor inside where some the capital is going to do. Just because there's so much going on so fast. Like inauguration, we'll put editors nearby. But anything that's like appropriate, that's like outside, like color, parade route, market, that's all going to be staged. Inaugural ball, and all that shit. You're right, we were ready to know. Right. You can handle the intake. But yeah, opening that up. Not here yet, but I'm going to get shot to get a nice shot at him on the stage, and I got some surprise for a couple goals. So I'm making getting shot, but I think I took the headline.
Who else is here for the vote? Lino, Jaden. Oh, I thought Jaden.
Oh, no, I haven't made
Oh, good for you. That's right. He told me he was going to be out here. And then I saw him at the bar the second night. Oh, after the debate, he's like, oh, I just got hired by the post. Came up here, came out here. Yeah, he had 1 day guarantee. And I said, just let me know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Never Back Down's Clark County Chairman, Doc Hume.
Wow, what a crowd. And everybody's ready and hyped up, huh? I just want to say a couple of thank yous. First of all, of Governor DeSantis' supporters for being here and the overwhelming interest we see throughout the state. And I want to thank Never Back Down workers and what. I've been kind of with Never Back Down for I'm a volunteer for about 6 months. And I've met a lot of really nice, I guess I'm going to call them kids, young people, because I'm about 2 generations away from most of them. And the DeSantis campaign and all the volunteers that work for both. So getting on with that, we have 5, well, I guess maybe we have 8 very important people because I think the kids are here too. But I'd like to introduce to you Congressman from Texas, Chip Roy. Our own Iowa, Bob Vanderplatz. My friend and Governor Kim Reynolds. First Lady and kids, I think, are coming. Casey DeSantis. And of course, the reason we're all here, the next President of the United States, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Well, good afternoon, Iowa. Thank you to everybody who showed up today, has showed up for the last several months, been working hard this last year, working as hard as Governor DeSantis to make sure the people of Iowa know who the next President of the United States is going to be. You know, I've been talking about my kids. I have a 14-year-old son, Charlie, a 12-year-old daughter, Virginia. They're home in Texas where it's been about 70 degrees. It's getting a little cooler. And they had our 4-H show yesterday. Well, my son won. He won Best Showmanship. But look, I came up here in December with them, and I came up here for one simple reason. I want to make sure that my son, 14, my daughter, 12, can look up to the man in the Oval Office. And as we've been going around the state, it's very clear that the people of Iowa recognize that the man they want to look up to in the Oval Office is Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. You know, when I ran for Congress 5 years ago, I ran on 5 issues. I ran on securing the border of the United States, making sure that we restore what I called health care freedom, making sure that we balance the budget, stop spending money we don't have, make sure our men and women in uniform have a clear mission to care when they get home, and then getting Washington the hell out of our lives. There is no candidate running for president right now who has a better record on those 5 issues or any other issue you care about, or the issues you care about as hardworking Americans than Governor Ron DeSantis. Not one candidate has that record. There's a reason that Governor DeSantis has hit all 99 counties, has had over 240, 250 events, because he's the hardest working candidate, working hard for the people of Iowa, because they expect you to earn their vote. The people of Iowa know that the road to the White House goes through this state. They know that you have to earn their vote. You can't be anointed. You can't assume it. You can't not show up to the debate. You can't cancel an event in Cass County. The governor didn't just cancel it. He just went to Cass County. And importantly, you can't dismiss the people of Iowa, as a certain former governor of South Carolina did when she said that New Hampshire will correct Iowans. Let me just tell you one last thing, and I want to turn it over, which is this. When I said that list of things the governor has stood up for, go issue by issue, whether it was dealing with the border of the United States. The governor sent a plane load of illegal aliens to Martha's Vineyard and fundamentally transformed the debate when they told him he couldn't do it. And he did it even though everybody said, you can't do that, you'll alienate Hispanic voters. Well, guess what? He won 62% of Hispanic voters in Florida. They said, you can't challenge Disney. You can't take on the 800-pound gorilla. You can't take on Big Sugar in order to make sure that the Everglades get protected. You can't take on Big Pharma. He took on every single one of them, and he won Florida by 1.5 million votes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what leadership looks like. That's what we want in the Oval Office again. And with all due respect to the former president, okay, I'm tired of excuses for why things didn't get done in Washington. I'm tired of someone not showing up to the debates. I'm tired of someone assuming he's going to get anointed. I'm tired of someone who got to Washington and on the first week of the job was more concerned about the crowd size than on making sure Obamacare got repealed and replaced. It didn't happen. Who, by the way, didn't get the job done on the border and said he would build the wall, but instead have Mexico paid for it, and it didn't happen. And by the way, sided with Paul Ryan for an amnesty first bill instead of a border security first bill, and now we're the ones left holding the bag with open borders. We need more than words in Washington. We need the kind of guy like Governor DeSantis who did all those things, won by 1.5 million votes, 62% of Hispanic voters, 50% of single female voters. We need leadership like Ron DeSantis in the White House. That's why the night before last, I drove 8 hours from St. Louis to here in the blizzard because I'm going to make sure I run through the tape like St. Paul tells us to do in Timothy. Finish this race. Show up on Monday. Get this man elected to the White House.
Thank you, Chip Roy, huh? Give Chip a hand. I tell you what, guys, you inspire me. This is why this process starts right here in the state of Iowa. Look at this. A blizzard warning, a wind chill warning, and this place is packed. And what we know in Iowa is the media does not select our caucus winner. The polls don't select our caucus winner. You select our caucus winner. In 2008, they said Huckabee couldn't win, and Huckabee shocked the nation, and Huckabee won. In 2010, they said you couldn't oust 3 Supreme Court justices, and Iowans ousted 3 Supreme Court justices. In 2012, they didn't say Santorum could win, and he won. In 2016, they didn't think Cruz could win, and he won. And on Monday night, this guy who they say can't win is going to win because of you guys. So just like Chip Roy said, we need a leader in Washington, D.C., in the White House again, a leader with a wife and a family that we can look up to as a role model again, a leader who has led on every issue that we care about, whether it's school choice or parental rights or taking on COVID and Fauci, taking on the woke agenda in the schools or woke agenda in the corporation, and he won by a landslide. Guys, that is the type of leader we need because we've seen that leadership in our own governor, in Kim Reynolds. And so I am thrilled to stand up here with Governor Reynolds and Chip Roy and the DeSantises and say in Iowa on Monday night, we are going to deliver a caucus victory for the next president of the United States, Ron DeSantis.
Okay, so are you ready to caucus for Ron DeSantis? This is the kind of energy and excitement and motivation that we're seeing all across the state. And I tell you, this team has the best ground game of any other candidate in the state. And so now it's up to each and every one of us. You heard what Bob said. It's not the narrative. It's not the media. It's not the polls. We are independent, individual Iowans that have listened to a leader, that have looked at a record. This guy has told you what he's going to do. Ron has told you what he's going to do. All you have to do to look to his record in Florida, he's followed through with 100% on the promises that he made to the people that he served. We both barely squeaked by in 2018. We went out and told our constituents what we were going to do. And as a governor, listen, this guy didn't promise teeny tiny things. He took on big, bold initiatives that was transformational for the state of Florida. First time I really got to know Ron was during COVID, where we had, I think our number one enemy was Fauci. He was coming at us every single day, and we were out there on an island between the media and the administration and Fauci and Dr. Burke telling us to shelter in place, lock down, mask our kids, keep them out of school. The list went on and on. This guy brought in the experts, looked at the real science, took into account the people that he served, and he kept Florida open. He kept his economy open, and he kept his kids in school. And history has shown this kind of leadership to stand up to that pressure is what this country needs. So, okay, we got a few challenges. It's a little cold out there. But are we not Iowans? Are we not resilient? So what we need to do is be safe, of course, right? Layer up, and we need to get to the caucus. And if we get to the caucus, I can tell you without hesitation, with the energy, the motivation, just what we're seeing as we travel the state, this guy is going to be the winner of the Iowa caucus on Monday night. So fire up, keep this energy. We can't let down. It is game day. We got to carry it across the finish line, leave it all on the field. And I have the opportunity now to introduce to you all the next president of the United States, my friend who I was proud to endorse, Ron DeSantis.
Thank you. Are you ready to make some history on Monday night? They can throw a blizzard at us, and we are going to fight. They can throw a wind chill at us, and we are going to fight. They can throw media narratives at us, and we are going to fight. They can throw fake polls at us, and we are going to fight. We are going to fight because we are going to turn this country around. Donald Trump is running for his issues. Haley's running for the donors' issues. I'm running for your issues, your family's issues, and solely to turn this country around. No one else running except me has delivered on 100% of their promises. We made promises, and we delivered on those promises. Wouldn't you like to have that in the next president of the United States? Over-deliver. We also see where all the problems are being generated, whether it's in the universities, at the border, and corporations, at the bureaucracy. I'm the only one running that has fought the left and beat the left on issue after issue. We don't just sit there and talk. We don't just sit there and complain. We fight battles and we win battles. We beat Fauci on COVID. We beat the teachers' unions on universal school choice. We beat Disney fighting the gender ideology and keeping that out of our schools and protecting parents' rights. We beat Soros on crime by removing radical prosecutors. We beat the Democrats on election integrity by ensuring voter ID and no ballot harvesting and counting the votes on the night of the election. Imagine that. We beat the left by banning China from buying land in the state of Florida. No farmland or land near military bases, none of that. So we have a record of leadership that is second to none. And I'm sick of Republicans. You see what they're doing right now in Washington and with these senators doing some border agreement, which is basically caving on everything to the Democrats. These guys get beat by the Democrats time and time again. They've got a majority in the House, and Chip and some of these other guys are fighting, but they're doing budget deals to cave to the Democrats. I'm sick of the Democrats winning. I'm sick of the fact that the Democrats beat Donald Trump on the budget time and time again, and they added so much to the debt. I'm sick of the fact that the Democrats beat him on the border wall, and we did not get a border wall over 4 years like we were promised. You need to win the election, of course, and nobody has a better track record on that than me and what we were able to do in Florida. But winning just the election, that just gives you the ticket to the dance. You've got to actually convert on all these things, because if you get in there and you don't follow through on these promises, yeah, that'll be slowing the decline. Maybe you'll manage the decline a little bit better than the Democrats. That doesn't cut it. We need to reverse the decline, and you need to deliver on all these things. So we have a chance on Monday night. Well, first of all, we have people that have come in. I saw a lot of friends from Florida here. You know, normally Floridians don't... Normally Floridians don't choose in January to travel north in the middle of a blizzard. Usually that's why you're in Florida in January. And normally it's more expensive to come from Iowa to Florida in January than vice versa. But people are having to pay a lot of money to get up here because of the caucus. They're putting forth their time, their effort just to be able to come, make phone calls, knock on doors, and to do that. And people have come from all over to be able to volunteer for this. So thank you for doing that. It really means a lot. And I don't know that any other candidate, has folks that are organically wanting to come up and help, because I think people realize this country needs leadership. And we can't just rerun the 2020 election. We know that's not gonna do it. So we need leadership. So people have been doing that. So thank you. And then so many people throughout Iowa that have been volunteering for us. We have all the counties. We've got all kinds of folks that are there running our precincts, all this. Thank you for what you've done. You put forth tremendous effort. This is how you do the Iowa caucus. I mean, people criticize me as, oh, you're spending time there because you're doing all 99 counties. Well, that's how you do well. That's what you want to do. You show up, you answer questions, you talk to folks, you learn as a candidate, they get to hear from you. That's the way this process is supposed to work. So we've done it the right way. So here's the thing. You will never have an opportunity to participate and to vote in a way that's going to pack as much punch as you will on Monday night. If you go out and you bring some family members and some friends with you, we don't know how many people are going to turn out. Nobody knows. Anyone that says you that they can somehow take a poll and know, they don't know. But whatever you're able to do, you're never going to have an election where that is going to be as meaningful as this one is going to be. So take advantage of that. It's going to be cold. It's not going to be pleasant. But if you're willing to go out there and you're willing to fight for me, if you're willing to bring people to the caucus, if you're willing to brave the elements and be there for the couple hours that you have to be there, if you're willing to do that and you're willing to fight for me on Monday night, then as president, I'll be fighting for you for the next 8 years. Every single day, we're going to get the job done. So we're not going to stop. We know that the weather is not great, but if there's an event to be had, if folks want to listen to our message, we're going to do that, and we're going to run that all the way through Monday night. And so you can be rest assured that you're supporting the candidate that is working harder than all the other candidates, that is showing up, that is doing what you need to do here and obviously beyond as we get beyond January 15th. My wife and I, we have one of our kids here, Mason. He's a little tired. Sometimes he's up to say things. I don't think he's up to say, you don't want to talk right now? No, okay. Sometimes he does. We were actually I think we were in Northwest Iowa on the morning of the Big Ten championship game between Michigan and Iowa. And he's very good, and he knows sports very well. And he's a big football maven. He knows who's good. And I didn't choreograph this with him, but I was like, hey, Mason, who's going to win between Michigan and Iowa? And I'm getting ready to move the mic down, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, these are all Iowa fans. If he says Michigan, he's going to get booed as a 5-year-old. He got it. He was calm, cool, and collected. And I was like, who's going to win? And he said, Iowa's going to win. He got a big cheer. It wasn't the right prediction, but he did do it good. So I'm proud. And then our girls are coming up tomorrow. So we really are concerned, just as parents of young kids, about the type of America they're going to grow up in. And if you think about it, our administration, even serving 8 years, is not limited to just those 8 years. I mean, we're really talking about decisions that are going to be made that are going to affect the next 25 or 50 years. And if we keep going in the direction we are, we're going to be in such a hole that it's going to affect people, even people who are yet to have been born. So we're very sensitive about what type of future our kids are going to have. But I'm also somebody that is the only one that has served in the military that's running for president this year, as somebody that appreciates our veterans and somebody appreciates. We have got to get this right, because there have been people throughout our country's history who have sacrificed so that we can be free and so that we could have an opportunity to live in a free and prosperous country. We don't do them justice if we don't step up and get this done. We have an obligation to preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty. The sacred fire that burned in Independence Hall in 1776, when 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor so that they could establish a new nation conceived in liberty. The same fire that burned at a cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when our nation's first Republican president pledged to this nation a new birth of freedom. A fire that burned on the beaches of Normandy when a merry band of brothers stormed the shores, defeated Nazi Germany, and preserved liberty throughout the world. Same fire that burned in the foot of the Berlin Wall in 1987, when a resolute Republican president stood in front of that wall and said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," eventually leading to the destruction of the Soviet Union. This is our responsibility, to carry that torch and to preserve that sacred fire of liberty. We do not shy away from this responsibility. This is a responsibility that we welcome, because if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? I'm asking for your support on Monday night. I'll be a candidate that will help sweep us to victory all across the land. I'll be a leader that you can always be proud of. And as your president, I will win these fights for you. I will lead this country, and I promise I will not let you down. Thank you all. God bless.